Good night, and welcome to another episode of the Northway Basketball Podcast, brought to you by your host, Keon Mears, head of players advancement and scouting at the Northway. And we help coaches find pros, Canadian pros, future Canadian pros, guys who are going to be able to impact winning right away, especially with so much on the line. I think it's important that you vet now more than ever. And, without further ado, I'm going to get right into it. Another guy I spoke on a couple years ago, Ryan Nembhard, who's finally become a pro, had a great debut as a Maverick in the Summer League, led his team in scoring and assists. I believe he had 21 points and 5 assists. You could see it early with Ryan, despite his size. He developed a game that translates to the next level, a game that your team is going to need. He has an opportunity, like as an undrafted guy, to have a Fred Van Fleet type impact, and I think he will have a career that parallels Fred Van Fleet, especially with the Mavs in need of a point guard now that Kyrie's out. He's a 5 year guy, 4 or 5 year guy who understands and knows how to play right away. I think he can fill that void. It's a lot for me to say. I'm not saying he's as good as Kyrie Irving. I'm saying that he is a quality basketball player, and he's what a lot of teams need at the next level as far as defensively, offensively, taking care of the ball, decision making, scoring, picking his spots. I think that's a guy that you want running your team. I think Jason Kidd and Nico Harrison are going to end up loving him over there. I know he's with Life Sports Agency, and they have another guy in Omax over there. So it's no surprise that he will definitely have a career similar to that of Fred Van Fleet. I think he's cut from the same cloth, high character guy, backs down from no one. You're going to see him have a great NBA career. We're also going to talk to you guys about guys who are rising as a sleeper, a mid-major prospect, in my opinion, a guy with pro potential, a guy who's already doing well and runs against pros. Yousaf Ahmad. Because of my former playing career, I'm quite tapped into certain circles with different prospects, just because you know information spreads, and I think it's vital in assessing talent, and it really helps. So I think that Yousaf Ahmad, who is a 6'7" guard, goes to Kings Height, downtown kid, downtown Toronto kid, plays for Uplay White, which is Uplay's EYCL team on the U17s. Man, can't say enough about him. Saw him play yesterday for the first time in the EYCL against a tough squad where they ended up losing by two. My apologies for yawning. And he was very dynamic. He was able to play in the pick and roll and lead his bigs with pocket passes that led them to the rim. And as soon as these guys would step up in the pocket, he'd throw it and lead his big. Some of them just couldn't handle the pass because uncoordinated, clumsy, bad hands. So this, that, and the fourth. So it's okay. But he was making the right reads. A lot of things I also liked is that when he rebounded, he pushed the ball in transition, didn't take more than two dribbles, and he was able to find um, his teammates by headmatting the ball, and that's a skill that is very underrated, especially with guards nowadays, and that'll really help at the next level. He's 6'7". He can see over the defense. He understands how to play the game and make reads. I think he's going to be a great prospect at the next level, especially once he continues to refine his body, get stronger, get more athletic, lean out a bit, get rid of the baby fat. He's going to be a special prospect. He's a sleeper in the class of 2026. What we saw him do in that game and definitely translate to the next level. Also at 6'7", he was a floor spacer. Off the catch, he shoots it at a high clip. He also walked into some dribbles, walked some guys down off the dribble, and hit some threes. And then, because he was hitting threes at a consistent level, he was able to drive closeouts. He's able to get it, push it in transition, and because he was always headmatting the ball, making decisions, he's now getting the rim to the rim and using his size to finish. But he doesn't just bulldoze guys. He understands the importance of pace. He understands the importance of being shifty and attacking angles when you may not be as athletic, but um, he's a great prospect. He reminds me a lot of slow mo, but he has a jumper. I'm not saying he's the same talent, but I think given the opportunity, he'll be a great fit at the next level, especially as he continues to build on his body of work. He's at Kings Heights Academy in Vaughan, and I think he's going to have a big year ahead of them. I hope they get into bigger tournaments because of this, and play against higher level competition, as well as Xavier Blake, his teammate who is now attending Phelps School. And I've heard nothing but positive things from the Phelps coaching staff. Been raving about him. Um, it seems like he's taken a turn, man, and he's always been a very talented prospect. It's just that we were waiting for him to like, yo, dominate. It's like you don't know what you are, the talent you have, the ability you have. We want more. You can't pick and choose. And just from watching a couple games now, you've been seeing him like take over games. He's being aggressive. He's not afraid to make mistakes. He's not afraid to mix it up, rebound and defend, and try and punch it in the lane in the crowded and traffic. So just to see the way he played was amazing. He scored over 20 points in a variety of ways, from the mid range, pulling up, step back mid range, threes, off the catch, off the dribble, a variety of finishes with guys on his hip through contact, getting to the free throw line. He put it all together, playmaking. You know, I think he's going to be a great prospect at the next level, and going to the Phelps schools is what he needs, because being in uncomfortable environments sometimes brings the best out of guys. And I think there's a lot more resources in the USA as far as prep schools and competition, and it'll be a great fit for him. Guys who are going to hold him accountable and um, push him to that standard. They have the same plan for him that they had for Will Riley. That it's unfortunate that they have him for 1 year, and he really is so young that he could be a 2027. So things just fell and worked out this way. But Xavier Blake is definitely a high major prospect. Has high major athleticism. He's long. He's athletic. He's extremely skilled. Skill's never been an issue for him. It's just that switch. He always had it on and off, on and off. And that was my thing with him. It was never his talent. It was more so his will to compete and dominate. And now you're seeing it come full force. And I'm going to be intrigued with what he does this year at Phelps. So Xavier Blake, he's definitely a great pro prospect. Yousaf Ahmad is someone you should definitely pay attention to, as well as a number of other prospects that we have as sleepers who are gonna make a big splash this year in the prep scene. And if I were a Division 1, Division 2 NAIA school, I would make trips here. There's talent here. Yeah, let's get on calls, let's text, let's email, do all that stuff. But I think it's also important for you guys to come here and see the talent for yourself in person, and be up to date with them during the AAU season. So this concludes another episode of the Northway Basketball Podcast, and here are some announcements. We have our middle school camp coming up, identifying prospects, educating parents, helping them maximize their chances of getting a scholarship when it's time to be exposed. That's why we're putting that event together. We have a lot of talented kids there, and I'm looking forward to having that event this Saturday, July 12th. So for everyone who's been supporting the Northway out of the last couple of years, we just want to say thank you for the coaches who subscribed, for the parents, for the children and the student athletes. It means a lot. And yeah, like I said, this is concluding this episode of the Northway Basketball Podcast. We just want to thank you for tuning in, and be sure to send it to a friend. Subscribe on all platforms: YouTube, Spotify, Apple, and stay tuned for the next episode. And for now, this is your host, Kale Mears, head scout at the Northway. Have a good night.